Here's a thought for today. It's April 7th. And if today is your birthday, you share your birthday with former heavyweight boxing champion Buster Douglas. Now, the day that Buster Douglas earned the heavyweight boxing title, it was considered one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. His opponent was Mike Tyson. And at that time in the late 80s, the 3 years leading up to that matchup with Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson was one of the most amazing boxers at that point. Probably 2/3 of his matches were over by a knockout in the first round. And no one had even taken Mike Tyson longer than 5 rounds in the boxing ring up to that point. And the matchup of Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas, it was considered so lopsided, no betting parlors even wanted to bother putting odds on the fight. Actually, only one did. And the odds of Buster Douglas winning that fight were 42-1. However, when they got in that fight, Buster Douglas had a longer reach. He was keeping Mike Tyson out a little bit longer, and he was getting hits on him. And even Mike Tyson's cornermen weren't prepared. Douglas landed some punches, and Mike Tyson's eye was starting to swell up. His cornermen didn't even have ice packs for Mike Tyson to keep the swelling down, because they were rarely fighting past the first round. They never had to worry about taking care of their boxer, of getting any potential injuries in a fight. But in the end, even though it was a tough match going late rounds in the 10th round, Buster Douglas knocks Mike Tyson out to become the heavyweight boxing champion of the world. And that story, it reminds me in business of how important it is to avoid complacency. And complacency doesn't happen overnight. Complacency is a series of little things, or taking your foot off the gas pedal a little bit more just day by day. But after a couple of years, that adds up. And before you know it, where things seem to be running smoothly, all of a sudden it's a crisis and things come crashing down. So think about that. We're just past the first quarter of the year. Business is always tough, but it's always important to keep up with those things where you feel like you might take your foot off a little bit off the gas pedal. That if you're in sales, that one extra call that you make at the end of the day, the prospecting calls that you have to do every day. You want to avoid thinking that, well, maybe today I don't need to do that. I'll do that tomorrow. Those things, when you start doing that, by the end of a year, they add up, and all of a sudden there are missed opportunities. So think about what you can do for the balance of 2025 to avoid complacency, and don't get caught surprised like Mike Tyson did by Buster Douglas. Now go make something happen.